Arsenal couldn't finish their chances yesterday. Mikel Arteta couldn't manage. And Sophie somehow set today's show for 8 o'clock, like in 12 hours, 8 o'clock, instead of 8 o'clock in UK time. But for those of you that know us, you know that we go live at 8 most Fridays. And you get a bonus tonight because we've shifted up Kevin Says. Here we go, everybody. Welcome to the podcast once again. My brother from another podcast mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Bow! Bow! Bow!
Kev, I'm getting in trouble left, right, and centre. Newman, do you guys not know we broadcast at 8 most nights? This is the rule.
He should know. He knows.
He should know. I make one mistake. Instead of clicking AM, I clicked PM, but also I set the time. It's my mistake. And you know what? Unlike Arteta, I own up to my mistakes. My strategic error today may have cost us a few hundred live chat listeners, but you know what? We're still here doing the business, aren't we, Super Kev?
Certainly are. Certainly are.
How you feeling today?
I'm okay. I've had a busy day.
Yeah.
Been pretty busy doing football stuff and other stuff, other project stuff as well. And I've just finished about 5 minutes ago. Oh, so I've been at it all day. So here we go.
Nice. All right, here we go. We were going to do a different kind of show today, but based on what has happened, and yes, social DRG, 4 a.m., I know. Whoever made it, well done for being here. Just put it that way. I wear my error on my sleeve. Kev, you prepared some videos for us. No matter how busy you are, you're always well involved and make sure that we get your opinions and your thoughts. And for today's Kevin Says, we were going to do it on Monday, but we thought we have to do this and strike while the iron is hot today. Spread the word, people. Let everyone on the Twitter sphere know that we are here, we are live, and we are ready to go with Super Kevin Campbell. So he has prepared 3 questions for you. So why don't we just get rolling, shall we? I think that's the way to go.
This is the questions for yourself. Kev says, question 1. Does sacking Arteta solve Arsenal's problem? That's question 1.
I love how you there was a chuckle there. There was some lint on your jumper there, Kev, for a second.
And I was just brushing it off my shoulder because I know I'm going to have to deal with quite a few today. So I was just brushing myself down, few lint off and all that. Let's get to it. Come on.
Let's just get stuck right in. Go on, Kev.
We were upset last night. We all were upset last night for different reasons, but it's all because Arsenal never made it through. Would have been delighted if Arsenal made it through. Had an opportunity to obviously from early this morning. I've done my first interview at 7 this morning, and I've been constantly doing different things throughout the day. Was on Sky, was the first segment on Sky earlier on, Soph. And when you go on Sky, you prepare, you do your things, and you need to have things set out in your head. And it was really set out in my head what to say this morning on Sky, and it came out exactly how I wanted it to come out. And that's why I thought when you said we're going to do Kev Says today, that question was actually in my head. The first question was in my head to do my recording for Kev Says next week, but I didn't have the time, so I done it on my phone, and here we go, because I think it's a really valid question.
It is. It is. And I usually start off with answering your question, and then I hand it over to the squaddies and everybody in chat. And it's probably the most important question in the sense that if you sack him, do you have a plan? Right?
Well, look, again, if you, as the question goes, Soph, does sacking Arteta solve Arsenal's problem?
Well, Emma says yes, yes, yes. Gunner
what,
forever.
Just yes.
Tell us yes and why. So when you say yes, Mus, follow that up and let us know why. And thank you for all those now joining in live chat after my little faux pas. Gunner Forever says, not going to buy any more FP tickets until Kroenke has gone. Gunner Forever, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, babe, but you may be waiting a really long time because I don't think they're going anywhere. If your family owned a business and it was worth $3 billion, you're not, as a family, think of your family as a unit. When the lions come hunting, families stick together no matter what. Blood is thicker than water. I think this has made them even more galvanized, Kev, to keep the club.
100%.
So as much as I don't want, it's very difficult for fans right now to invest time and money.
And energy.
Yeah. So Archangel says no. Next. Very determined. Doesn't mince his words there, Kev.
Yeah.
And Knuckles says no because the owner is the main problem.
Listen, Knuckles, you might just be onto something. You might just be onto something. You might not. But I think this is this is why we come on, Soph, and this is why it was brilliant foresight by you to actually do Kev Says today, because let's chop it up. Let's look. Let's pull the layers back and let's look at where we are. We've done it throughout the season, but now after that performance, we are at the crossroads, and we're going to get to a crossroads question. But people are saying Arteta out. But does it solve the problem?
So, Kev, for me, this is like the autopsy.
Yeah.
Right. This is the autopsy show. You really tried
Arsenal died. Arsenal died
last night, and this is the post-mortem.
Yeah. How did they die? Why did they die?
Right. So if we go to Raul, he says, yes, it does solve Arsenal's problem to an extent. How? Tell us why and how, Raul.
What is the extent, Raul? What is the extent that it solves Arsenal's problem?
And that's kind of, I guess for fans like me and Raul, maybe it's like, can a more experienced manager come in and get a little bit more out of what he has? Because without European football, which we're going to talk about over the coming weeks, Kev.
Well, listen, we're going to speak about that which today, never mind the coming weeks.
Without European football, we were able to attract Oba, Laka, Partey, Gabriel, Tierney without Champions League football, but they were still playing in Europe. They had Europa League and they had the hope that they could make Champions League. Now we may not be able to even offer that. Now, you can still play in the Premier League for a great club because we're still a great club. We're just a great club that needs a heart transplant, some kidneys, some liver.
And some plasma.
And some plasma, for sure. Let's go to John here. Definite no for question one. Okay, so you got to tell us why as well. Daniel, no, the squad is too poor. Kev, you've said this for a lot of the season. Big Gunner D says no. Mark says yes, sack Arteta. Then
a big Mark. Listen, if they sack Arteta, I'm gonna have to brock it. I would have to. Because, as I've said many a time, Sophie, and people think I'm all backing Arteta. I back the manager of Arsenal. Whether it's Arteta or another, I back the manager of Arsenal because I want Arsenal to do well. That's what I want. I want Arsenal to do well. If the manager does stuff that absolutely goes haywire and crazy, then I have to say, then I have to address my position. But the fact of the matter is, whether it's Arteta, whether it's Freddie, whether it's Unai Emery, whether it's Arsene Wenger, I support them. Because they are the manager of our football club. I don't see, and I don't apologize for that. That's the truth. I don't apologize for that. Some people don't like it, which is fine, but I don't apologize for that. So
yeah. I guess the question is support at what cost? And we'll get to that, Kev. We'll get to that. Good evening, Arsenal Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us. We love you guys. Here's what Michael says: get this PE teacher out of my club. I prefer the PE teacher description versus what is it? Tapas or Spanish tapas Arteta or whatever it is. I don't know what people are calling him.
Tapas Pep or something.
Something like that.
But
or Pep's cone coach or something like that as well.
And again, all these things. Here's another question I want to ask inside a question, Soph.
Mm-hmm.
Because Arteta hasn't got an experience and the club's going through a tough time, there's quite a bit of fans who are Arteta out.
Mm-hmm.
Are they there not looking at the big picture solely because they want to be proven right?
Oh, I think there's only, in terms of the influencer sphere, I think there's only a couple folks doing that routine. I think we've seen a lot of people eat crow today and be, you know what I mean?
Hence why the question. Do you know what I mean? Does sacking Arteta solve Arsenal's problems? Because at the end of the day, we all love the club.
Yeah. Well, let me get to a few of these for you, Kev, because we're going to get stuck into that a little bit at the end when you give us your responses too. Because Andy brings up a good point. He says no because Stan's still there. Vinay and Edu will be hiring the next man. See, I personally would sack Edu and Vinay. I think I think Edu's shown that he's a bit green, and Vinay was promoted because of the role debacle. But none of them are qualified truly to be running a football club, are they? I mean, I think they've proven this. So to me, it feels like it's 6-1. I don't know. It's like a mess completely. You got messy owners, a messy board, messy executives, and a mess of a manager.
Yeah, but what Andy's just said takes away. He's saying no because those guys are there. But this is just about solving our problems as a football club and a team, but not necessarily sacking them, getting rid of them doesn't solve the problems either necessarily.
I'm going to circle back with that when you answer your question a little bit later, because I want to get as many of the listener things as I can. And I know you like the good, the bad, and the ugly, Kev, and I know you thrive on the negative.
Come on, Zamir, let's hear it.
Zamir, come on. Look, he's calling you Arteta's lawyer. Mm-hmm. Do we go out to Villarreal under another top manager, Kev? I don't think we do.
No, of course we can. Listen, at
well,
the end
we
of
can,
the day,
but do we?
No, but we don't know. Again, this is all hypothetical crap. We've gone out.
The question is hypothetical because we don't know what the club are going to do.
No, but he's our manager. So how do we know? How do we know who the next manager is going to be? We don't. We don't know if there is going to be a next manager. So we can't say, would we go out to? We don't know. We have no idea. The fact of the matter is, let's talk about the real what is here and now. These are the facts. Mikel Arteta is Arsenal's manager. And everyone's baying for his blood, calling for his head, which is fine. I accept that. But as the question goes, does it solve our problems?
I believe it does.
Okay. Explain why.
You've got to. Okay. Do you want me? I've had my say yesterday. I want everyone to have their say now, and I will have my say when you give your responses in a little bit. Okay. Because I do think it makes a difference. And I think we've seen for past clubs that it shows that we make a difference.
Our problem.
I think it helps kickstart the potential of saving our problems.
No. Does it solve our problem?
You can't solve Arsenal's problems with one hire. You just can't.
But that's what everybody's doing. Everybody is saying Arteta's the problem. Arteta's the problem. That's what they're doing.
But he is a big part of the problem, Kevin. He's a huge part of the problem.
But Sophie, this is why I'm asking the question. Does sacking Arteta solve Arsenal's problem?
How can it solve all of Arsenal's problems when there's 10 of them? He's one of them. So that helps start the process to solve the problems.
Yeah, but does it? This is the question.
In my opinion, it does.
Right. So that's why I'm asking, okay, why does it?
Answer this then. Answer this.
No. You haven't answered.
I told you it does. It starts to help solve Arsenal's problem. He's inexperienced. He's a rubbish manager.
Right.
He's absolute garbage.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. He's garbage, he's rubbish, and all that. Fair enough. But who do you bring in?
Well, if it was a serious club like the other top teams.
No. Sophie, you don't get that privilege because you're not talking about the other top teams. We're talking about the Arsenal.
I would try and go pay out the roof to get Antonio Conte, or I would try and buy off Brendan Rodgers at Leicester. I would much rather have hands on someone like Brendan Rodgers who can come in the same way he did at Liverpool and understand there's fundamental institutional issues at a club whereby he's going to have to integrate some arrogant young and up-and-coming players, try and utilize the elder statesmen like he did with Carragher and Gerrard, intermix a lot of foreign players coming in, and really work his way through understanding that Liverpool Football Club is massive. They have a fandom that is unlike no other. I mean, he managed Liverpool Football Club, and barring a slip from Gerrard, he almost won the Premier League title. He's gone to Leicester. He's completely transformed that team. Leicester on paper are not better than us. They've got great owners who have invested in the club, yes, but now they found a manager who is able to maybe take them to the next level. So for me, Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers is a great choice. And I'm not being funny. As good as Leicester have been in the Premier League, Arsenal are still a bigger football club. And somebody can come in. Hold on. Somebody can come in and be a hero. A manager with an ego and arrogance can come in and be like, you know what? I'm going to transform this club.
Sophie, I just want to say something to you now.
Yeah.
Remember before Arteta came in, Brendan Rodgers was mentioned for the Arsenal role, manager's job.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, he didn't get the job, but he wasn't offered the job.
No, he was mentioned. Yeah. What did the fan base say?
That's not that entire fan base, Kev. That's
I never said. Hold on. I never said it was. I just said, what did the fan base say? That's all I said.
Like many managers who didn't want Brendan Rodgers, like a lot of managers who don't want Graham Potter now, rightly so. Like a lot of managers who don't want Sarri, like fans who don't want Sarri, like a lot of fans who don't think Diego Simeone is the answer either. I mean, there's their opinion, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good candidate for the Arsenal job.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. I asked one simple question. I said, what was the fans' reaction? I know he's capable. Well, I can only talk general. I can't talk for every fan. So what was the majority of it was actually the majority of the fans. He ain't good enough he couldn't do it at Liverpool.
Oh, that's unfair. He laid the foundation for Klopp in a very big way at Liverpool. He brought on. He actually made Sterling realise that he needs to be a professional footballer.
Sophie. So if he laid the foundation for Jurgen Klopp, how many players in that Liverpool team did Jurgen Klopp win with that were under Brendan Rodgers?
You are, okay, hold on one second. I agree with Zamir here because now you're really acting like Arteta's lawyer today, Kev.
I don't care what you say. You're talking about Brendan Rodgers.
Is Brendan Rodgers not a better manager than Mikel Arteta?
He is. He's more experienced.
So why wouldn't you want him at Arsenal?
I never said I didn't. You never heard me say that. What I said was, what happened when Brendan Rodgers got linked with the Arsenal job? That's all I said. How did the fans react?
How did
Now
the fans?
you're-
How did the
hold on,
fans
now
react
you're
when Mourinho was?
Hold on.
How did the fans react?
That's not what I asked.
That's not. No, now you're not
That
being
is not
fair.
what I didn't ask about Mourinho. I asked about Rodgers.
And I gave you my answer. I think he's a better option than Arteta.
Yes. And then I said, look what happened when he got linked with the Arsenal job.
And look what happened when Mourinho was linked with the Arsenal job. Fans went nuts.
Yeah,
You've told me many times that fans would never be.
Did.
So what's the problem?
So my point is this. Whether they've got experience or not, sometimes it doesn't work out. That's my point.
But that's why when I mention managers like Conte and Simeone, and I don't know who just said it, I'm not going to burst the blood vessel at all. Why aren't you saying Kev's going to burst the blood vessel? He's the one that's looking like he's going to burst the blood vessel before me. So let's get it right here, Neil. All right? Calm your jets, mate. The point is that we are a club, okay, that on paper has decent players, and this manager has mismanaged this entire team this season. And when you ask me that question and I give you Brendan Rodgers, and then you say fans got mad. Well, they got mad when we associated with a lot of different managers.
But Sophie, my point is, because I asked the question to make a point. The point of the matter is, you're talking about Brendan Rodgers. Certain amount of fans didn't want him in, like they don't want anybody in, say to speak. But that doesn't mean it's going to work out. Arsenal have a history of not paying top dollar for managers.
Yeah, but we're talking about change now and what needs to happen in an ideal world.
That was before Arteta change. Let's have it right, Sophie. Before Arteta came in, that was the time. If you wanted that experienced manager, I never asked for Arteta. I was asking for Allegri. They put in Arteta. I never wanted Emery. I wanted a top manager, but they put in Emery. I supported them. I backed them. I supported them because they managed the football club. That's my point. Arsenal, when have Arsenal ever gone out and got a top manager?
Well, the point of this entire show, Kev, and the point of these conversations now is that you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Number one, as we all know, is the sign of bloody madness. Number two, you're not going to yield the results that you want. Arsenal have to change how their business culture and their football culture. We need the reason why I mentioned Simeone and Conte. We need ruthlessness. And I was trying to find the comment in chat where someone also said that too. We need ruthlessness. And you know, for me, Arteta's a bit of a teddy bear with a shotgun. His ego, he put his ego before the team yesterday. And this might be a controversial statement.
Go on.
But I'm sorry. Aubameyang has been poor all season, but he had a good game against Newcastle and he was the closest to scoring a goal yesterday, hit the post twice. You could say with 12 minutes to go, Aubameyang may have been third time lucky. And he takes him off. He takes him off. Now, there's something going on there between the two of them. It's not been right since he dumped him, rightly so, for being late to the North London derby. That's where he showed true ruthlessness, okay? Getting rid of the click in January, that was coming. Every manager should have done that.
Yeah, but they didn't.
They didn't, but Edu had a part to do with that as well.
Yeah, but...
Okay? But the point is this, Kev. The point is this.
You tell me the point.
He is arrogant. He's not even 40 yet. He's still a dude. And I don't care what people say. Dudes and dudettes, we all have an ego. All of us. To some extent. Some bigger than others. Okay? And the way he's managed certain players, he doesn't get... Like, I've managed people that I don't like. But I still have to get the best out of them. Because I know they're talented. I know they're talented.
You don't get the best. You try and get the best.
No, I've done it, Kev. I've done it.
You try and get the best out of them. They're the ones who fulfill the talent, not you. So let's have it right, Sophie. All you could do is provide what you do to them. They are the ones who do it.
Correct. But if you inspire them the right way, that's
what I'm saying.
What about Saliba? Let's get to Stefan's comment here.
But he's not even there. So why are we speaking about a player who's not even at the club?
Because
who we know is coming back in the summer.
It's an example of him mismanaging players. Let's get to Terry. Martinelli. Why isn't Martinelli playing? What does he have to do to get a game? He and Aubameyang together were like a symphony against Newcastle. And I know Newcastle were garbage. Okay. All right, they're absolute rubbish, Sophie. But you can only play who's in front of you, Kev.
Sophie, okay. So what would have been your front three yesterday then?
I would have played Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Pepe. And I would have played ESR behind them. Yeah. I would have had Xhaka and Partey in midfield.
I just wanted your front three.
There, that's my front three.
Okay, that's your front. So Saka don't play.
Saka's at left back.
No. Mikel Arteta, Mikel Arteta trusts Saka more than he trusts Martinelli.
But that doesn't make it right.
What are you talking about? It don't make it right. It makes it right for the manager. Saka's been our best player this season.
He's been proven wrong so many times. It's just.
So has Saka been our best player this season? Yes or no?
Yes, of course he has. But we have injuries, and we're in a semi-final of a European Cup.
So why is it wrong for the manager? Why is it wrong for the manager to play his best player in the position where he wants him?
Okay, can I just say, the defense of Arteta is getting a little bit thin with me in the sense that...
Sophie, I'm talking about players now. It's not a matter of a defense of Arteta. You're saying he made a mistake not playing Martinelli.
I did. I think that Martinelli deserved a chance. And when we have an injury at left back and he doesn't trust Cedric since his debacle in Europe... Play Saka, who you told me, Kev, in a game, it was either against Villa or Wolves, where I argued with you, why is he moving Saka back there? And you scolded me on a WhatsApp match saying, see, I told you, doesn't matter where Saka plays, he can make shit happen on the pitch.
Sophie, yes, he can.
You said that.
Yes, he can. So now we get back to it's a semi-final and he's your best player. You want him in the position where he can affect the game.
But the problem is, then play him on the play him somewhere. He can play anywhere. He's a baller.
No, but you see, Sophie, now you're scuffling.
No, I'm not scuffling. Not at all.
Scuffling.
No, I do.
Because
do I stutter when I say that he should have started Martinelli? No, I don't.
You cannot tell me Bukayo Saka hasn't been our best player and he shouldn't play at the top end of the pitch. Pepe has been quality as well. They play. Our best striker plays down the middle. Martinelli, there was no room for him yesterday. So you could say, Martinelli, you think that Martinelli deserved to play. But the fact of the matter is, those front three, that's who he picked. It's not that he got it wrong.
But he did. We lost. We're out. We didn't lose. We drew. We couldn't even score.
No, but it's not. Hold on a minute. It's not that he got his selection
wrong. He left
wrong.
Thomas Partey on his own in midfield.
Players didn't perform. Sophie, we've been through this yesterday.
Kev, we've been through this all freaking season.
No, we've been through this yesterday.
It's just
what I'm saying is, Sophie, what I'm saying is, you're talking about Martinelli playing. I'm saying it's either you're going to drop.
I'm not only talking about that. I'm responding to your question.
Yeah, but you mentioned Martinelli should have played. And I'm saying he's not going to play when you chose your front three. Saka wasn't in it. That's all I'm saying. And the point of the fact Saka wasn't there is Arteta trusts Saka more than Martinelli.
Okay. Also, Robin, if you don't think Kev's expressing emotion right now, I don't know what planet you're living on. Thank you very much for your message. I really appreciate that. The point is this, Kevin. We're in the semi-final. We need a goal. Okay. We've been hit with an injury to Xhaka before. And a lot of people think Xhaka was going to play left back, and they're still saying that today.
Okay. But if he was, if he was going to play left back, he was going to play left back. It doesn't really matter now. But the fact of the matter is, we never turned up.
We never turned up because the manager didn't have the team ready, and the team weren't ready themselves.
Sophie,
they're all responsible.
So is it? Are they never ready? So that's what you're saying.
No, he's never had this team ready, barring 3 or 4 games this season. Correct.
No. It's got to be. It's either he's got them ready or he hasn't got them ready.
He never had them ready for that game last night. Unai Emery had Villarreal ready, and our manager never had our team ready. Here's the scoop.
I didn't think Villarreal were a great
No,
side.
but none of us think.
It's because we were so poor.
Kev, the problem is this, right? We have injuries, okay? You've got to be able to adapt. He left. Thomas Partey was like a spare dick in a brothel last night. The dude was just there. He left him hanging. You know it, and I know it.
Sophie,
and we've digressed a little bit from our initial conversation.
That's what I'm saying. We've discussed all this yesterday. No, you brought Martinelli up. I didn't.
You asked me a question. Right, let's get to the next video, shall we? My brother from another podcast.
I could feel the fire.
Look, there's a big fight on this weekend. I got my gear ready, man. I got my gear ready.
You got your training gear on. Jesus, please.
Right. Listen, I'm going to try and get to as many of your comments as I can. It's harder for me as well to type because my microphone stand broke, Kev. So I'm having to hold the bloody thing.
Hold and type with one hand and all that.
It's helping with the old workout, I have to say. Is this a bad time to bring up that football prizes have a Tony Adams shirt up for grabs?
No, it will break it up nicely, actually. Say it, we could cool down a bit.
Never, Casey, never. Right, here we go. Listen, let me get some of these. There are some people that agree. Let's see. I want you to see some of these. Casey, you don't need a manager. It's about the players. I think he's being sarcastic. Samurai Sophie, let's see this. The bench players are always the heroes when we lose. Come on, Sophie. You hate Arteta's guts. Why? Because he didn't start your preferred 11. Christ. Oh, go back to bed, Robin. I don't hate anyone's guts. I mean, seriously, let's just stop. I just disagree with how he's managed the team this season. It's been bad. My goodness. And yes, I would have preferred to see El Neni next to Partey. Anyway, total shit show. I agree with you. Right, let's get to Kev's second question. Here we go.
Question number 2. We are at the crossroads at Arsenal now. First time in 25 years. We're struggling to make Europe in the league. Let's put it that way. And we may not make Europe. But is it the end of the world? Question 2.
This question got me a bit rolled. If you thought the last segment was...
I'm ready. Hold on. Let me get the water. Come on, Sol, let's have it then.
You're going to need to put your hat on.
No, I don't need no hat. This is what Kev says is about.
Okay.
Let's get it out.
I'm going to let the listeners take this one. All right? And then I will listen.
Is it the end of the world?
Casey out. Yep, says good. Heaven Angel.
I want all the Casey outs to put them up. Because you know why, Sophie? When I explain at the end, I want apologies from all of them.
Okay. BX Gunner says, no Europe and it's a shot to the gut.
Oh, yeah. We know that.
Oh, man, that's a positive one. We don't need this. What is it? Lace them back. Yeah, we do need them out there. It's true.
Thanks, Texas.
Okay, here we go. JS, yes. Why was El Neni not... No, we're talking about this now. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm going to go down. There's so many. All of a sudden, we have 400 people in live chat, Kev, even with my faux pas earlier.
Welcome, everybody. And don't forget, hit the like button.
Hit the like button if you hate everything today. Stefan Paul says, no, listen, are you the Stefan Paul who played Paul in Neighbours? Do you remember that actor, Kev?
Yeah, I do remember. Actually.
Look, he's doubling down. Tell us why, Heaven Angel. Look, he's put it up twice now. Twice.
Oh, lovely. Can we get 9, please, Heaven Angel?
Yeah, we'll get that. Look, here we go. It's Freeze Thursday nights up. There's a little joke right there. Linnell says, I think there'll be a valuable lesson for us to learn from the hardships we're experiencing. Hardships come with huge implications. And being out of the Champions League for 5 years, I hear you completely. But being out of the Champions League for 5 years, we've seen what that's done to us financially and competitively. Going out of Europe completely hinders our ability to sign new players and maybe even bring in a new manager. Kev, I'm going to go to Juez here. Trinidad Gunner. Nice. Welcome, Trinidad. Maybe Arsenal not in Europe is a blessing in disguise. Come on, you Gunners. Positive mindset, humble life. Love that. Let's see. Richard, it will certainly be the end of Arsenal if we don't broke Arteta's. You started that, Kev.
That made me laugh. I got to admit that.
Sasha says fewer games equals smaller squad. That's an interesting. Kev, smaller squad means less money, I think, is what Sasha's saying. Bring down the wage bill. But at the same time, you still got to compete in the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League. I'm not sure about that one. What do you think?
Not necessarily smaller squad, not necessarily, but we're at the crossroads. So it's, again, I'm going to answer it all at the end, but not necessarily smaller squad, not necessarily.
Okay, I agree here too. Look what happened to Chelsea when they're out of Europe. Look what happened to Liverpool when they're out of Europe. Look what happened to Manchester United when they're out of Europe for a period of time. Let's see, hotcakes. Oh man, I love a bit. I was ready to eat that humble pie, Kev.
You would love. Hey, you had the oven on and everything. Yeah, of course.
Just saying.
Yeah. Just saying. Yeah.
It's not a disaster being out of Europe. It's an important part of the journey. The highs wouldn't be highs without the hurt. Hotcakes, baby cake, baby cakes. Let me just say. The hurt has been going on way too long. All right. It's kind of like that relationship you get out of. And after a few years, your friends are like, when are you going to meet someone? When are you going to start dating again? When are you going to let it go? When are you going to forget? Arsenal Football Club are kind of like the best and worst relationship we've all ever had. And the hurt has been lingering for years now. So I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Who's this? Knuckles. Oh, with the Z?
Yep, Knuckles, yeah.
I'm so old, I'm telling you. You're so much more street cool than I am, Kev. We have more time to focus, more rest for players. We can start again and be more effective in the league and competitions. No, I'm going to stop and not even read the end of the sentence. For me, Kev, that's what people said when we were out the Champions League, right? But we were in the Europa League. And then you mix squad. You got a squad for the League Cup, you got a squad for the FA Cup, you got one for the Europa League, and then you got your Premier League, Premier 11. I don't know do you buy into that?
I'm going to answer at the end.
Okay. By the way, Willock scored again.
Listen, he just keep putting those millions on Willock.
Ding, ding, ding. Kev, what do you think about 777 Rough Driver? Hello. That motorcycle looks pretty sweet. I won't be watching another match this season. What's the point? Tell them what the point is, Kev, to watch the rest of the games this season.
Well, the point is Arteta, if he's the manager, might experiment. He might put Balogun in. You might see Aziz. You might see Aziz. You might see some of these youngsters who we've heard about. You just might get an opportunity to see them. I think it's important now that so-called pressure is off the team. Let's see how they act. Because you know what? Our last 3 really big games was FA Cup final, was Europa League final, and was this semi-finals. And in 2 lots, the pressure got to the players.
And the manager.
Well, but remember, there's 2 lots. So did it get to the manager before as well? Then
it's all gotten to him.
No. So I'm saying it's 2 lots. There's one was years before Arteta wasn't even manager. Remember the Europa League final? Yeah. So did that get to the manager?
Absolutely. Unai Emery. Both.
That never got to Unai Emery. How did it get to Unai Emery? He's won. He's the most winningest coach in the Europa League.
Yes, he is. But in that final, he wasn't able to pull it off.
No, the team weren't, because we were 0-0 at halftime.
Yeah, I know, but unfortunately, he manages the team and he's responsible for the result as well. And it didn't work.
I know, but you see, this is where we get that crossover where you say the manager never got it right, but again, it's the players who are performing. When you're on the pitch, you have to perform, and you have to adjust when you're on the pitch.
I concur. And Raul asks a good question. Kevin, when you played, did you listen to your manager, or did you just see the white line and start playing?
Raul, this is what you train for. You train so you know the game plan. You train so when you go on the pitch, you know what to do. And if there's any in-game adjustments, the manager would speak, say something, and you will get it, the information, you understand it, then you adjust. So there ain't a lot what a manager can do. There isn't a lot. It's all in the preparation. All of it is in the preparation. And if the team prepare properly, cross the white line and don't perform, yeah, I know the manager carries the can. I've said that. But the players on the pitch, it's their job to do what they're supposed to. And Arsenal haven't turned up. This has been the problem all season.
Yeah, also a problem. I agree with Steph Paul from Neighbours once again. The false 9 in the first leg was the end of our dream. And the manager was responsible for that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. He was, but we had a chance to do it yesterday. And what happened again? We never turned up again.
Maybe a little bit of that luck that we talked about too, Kev, hitting the post twice.
Well, look, if we get lucky, we're not having these conversations, right? We're happy we got through. Even if we just scraped through, we'd be having a different conversation.
All right. Well, here's one for you from J Dime. Kev, I love you, but how can you keep backing this? I'm not Arteta in or out, but boy, I think we need something different now. I doubt I'm going to watch the rest of the season. I've been dead inside for a while.
Well, again, J Dime, the key to all of this is you've got to say what you see. And your eyes and my eyes, maybe we look at different things. Having been a player on the pitch, having been out there, I look at the players and nobody can tell me, whether all of you disagree with me, nobody could tell me what it takes to get over that white line and win. And once you've done all the preparation and it gets to game time, you've got to perform. And the team just haven't performed. That's it in a nutshell. So yeah, Mikel Arteta will carry the can, and if he gets the sack, yeah, but the same players are the ones who didn't perform.
Here's some truth serum from Stephen. We've always been mostly shit in Europe, barring the year you played, Kev. PSG and then Copenhagen. I mean, that's the last time that we were prolific in Europe. We got to UCL final, of course.
But you know the funny thing as well, Soph, and I've got to say this. It's not easy to win. Our football club are used to winning. And this is why we're so passionate and people are dead inside. I get all that. It frustrates you. I know it does. But here's the one thing I do know, Sophie. Arsenal Football Club's culture of winning changed when we left Highbury. We've discussed this. We need to get it back. It's been eroding for years. I said it on a pod probably last year. We are going to have to feel more pain. There is more pain coming for us. Kev, you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. Here it is. Now this is the crossroads. And I'm going to get to, obviously, my thoughts at the end. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I agree with Winston here too. Arteta's in-game management has been poor. He's to blame if players are not performing. Make a bloody early change. I mean, you play a false nine in his whole tactics. I mean, in the two most important games, he fluffed his lines. He really did. Let's play the last video from Kev, and then we can really get
stuck in.
Stuck
get
in.
Stuck in. Yeah. Question number 3, the bonus. Do we as a football club make wholesale changes, clear the decks, or do we make subtle changes? That's question 3. Speak to you. See you in the chat. I might have to deal with a few today, but that's what we have to do. All the very best, and I'll see you later. I've got a lot of work to do. I'm busy, really busy today, so I'll see you soon.
The governor. I love it. I also love how someone just told me that they didn't like my rap look today, but they still love me anyway. Thank you very much. I love that.
At least you're loved, so.
Yeah, exactly. I love this from Lalitia. Next video you should do is how you can build a winning mentality in the club. I mean, I said on Sky Sports News yesterday, we're mentally impotent. And I wasn't sure if that was an appropriate word to use on Sky News, but I did anyway.
I watched it and I smiled when I saw it. I heard it.
Dwayne says bring through the youngsters next season. Wholesale changes are needed, but only subtle changes will be funded. I think that's a very smart comment, actually.
Well, we don't know.
Zamir loves you because you're Arteta's lawyer. Someone wants to riot. No rioting or destroying the Emirates. We don't shit where we live, ever.
No chance.
That's not the answer. No riots, please. We've been classy. Our fans have behaved really well and got a message across, and we were the galvanizers of the protests. Arsenal Football Club, can you believe our fans came together, united, under one cause, one message?
True.
Let's not screw it up, right, Kev?
100%. 100%. Yesterday, the protest was done right again. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Thank you, Noonan. Don't shit where you eat.
That's the one. And thank you for the tapas poolis comments earlier to all. I think it was 100 of you that told me that I got it wrong. Yeah, Kev, in terms of wholesale changes, let's see. Stephen, I don't agree with wholesale changes. We're close, but I don't know who we'd bring in for the changes we need. Brother. I shit where I live. That's why I have a toilet. Very good. I had to post that because it was funny. The Cronkies get away with too much. Here we go. Let's see. Clear the deck as much as possible. Invest in a strong first 11. Fill in the reserves with the youth. Make them sell the club as well if possible. I actually think right now, guys, and this may be a very unpopular opinion, we need to park the selling of the club. It's not going to happen. I mean, never say never.
I agree with yourself. Listen, if it happens, we'll all be delighted. I can't see it.
No revolution ever successful without a few heads rolling. Just saying. This is true also. But we live in a different time, Archangel. It's very different. These days are very different to the days when people really had to riot and fight.
Yeah, but it's whose head roll?
And whose exactly.
Whose heads roll? Because you know what? I'll leave it to the end.
Okay, Amesy says, I believe more experience must be brought into the club. Arteta, Edu, and Vinay are all rookies. I agree. Look, Kev, would you agree with me that as much as people think Chelsea and Abramovich are ruthless, and they have been, I mean, they sacked Ancelotti in the stairwell at Everton after he won the double, and sacked Roberto Di Matteo after he won the Champions League, Rafa Benitez after he won the Europa League. Kev, they have, though, armed themselves with a board and an executive team that is second to none in this business. Would you agree with that?
No, I disagree.
What?
I think it's... I disagree. I think it's...
I wasn't actually expecting you to say
I know you weren't, but it's all down to the owner. Forget what the board think. The owner says...
No, but they run the business, Kev.
It's Abramovich, he's the one. He says he's out, he's gone. He says, I want him in. They get him. He says, I want to put 500 million in. That's what happens, or that's what did happen. But over a period of time, it starts getting run a lot more smoother. Yes, but still, that powerful person at the top, Abramovich, he's the man.
Well, he writes the checks and he decides who stays and who goes. But when it comes to running the daily method of operation of Chelsea Football Club, the ins and outs, the commercialism, the collaborations, third-party partnerships, the business end of it, he has a very smart group of people that run 100%. That, Kevin. And that's my point.
No, of course, he would have quality people who run it. But the bottom line is there's one voice. Let's be brutally honest. There's one voice.
Yes.
If he says, I want him, it's happening.
Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. Let's get to you answering your own questions
Kevin
now.
Ball, yes.
Where's that? Hold on,
If you don't hear, you must feel. Yes. Very true. If you don't hear, you must feel. And that sums up Arsenal in one sentence.
This comment?
16 years.
No.
He said, if you don't hear, you must feel.
Right, okay.
Right? Arsenal the recruitment's been poor for years. Sophie, people say we haven't spent money. We've spent millions.
Yeah.
But it's who we've brought.
And that's not the Kroenkes' fault.
No, Sophie, exactly. Now, the people who were in the positions of power at the time, this is all about legacy now, because if you buy the quality play, if you spend that money and you buy the quality players, the managers that come in should have a functioning, strong squad. Maybe needs tinkering here and there, but over the years, if you're investing good money in these players, you shouldn't be having to get rid of players and pay them off. You should be able to have saleable assets. We're the only big club who has to pay these players to leave.
I know. You said that on TalkSport last night, that you've been saying that for like the entire season. And it's true. It's really true. I mean, look, and when I say I understand you guys. Kev, how many years have the Kroenkes actually owned the club outright? Jordan, Jarrett, Bryan and I were talking about this on TalkSport last night. Is it 3 years?
Right, no, it's more. I think it's a bit more than 3 years.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's maybe 4 years.
Okay.
When they bought Usmanov's share.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
So prior to that, they're not responsible for the transfers. They're not responsible for the contracts. They're not responsible for the manager. They're not responsible for any of that. What I'm saying is that we need to just take a beat here and look at this from a factual point. Yes, Kevin. Thank you. Okay. Let's get to you answering your questions, and I'm going to pile in as many. 450 of you in live chat. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. You're listening to Kevin Says with the legend that is Super Kevin Campbell. We have disagreed all season on Mikel Arteta. We really have. And I've not done the I told you so. Oh, wait, did I just do that? No, sure I didn't. But I'm still waiting for my humble pie to be baked. It's going to burn in that oven, Kev. It's going to burn.
Well, turn it low.
Okay.
Turn it low. We don't want it black, right? We don't want it burnt up. So does sacking Arteta solve Arsenal's problems? No, it doesn't solve Arsenal's problems. Many people want him out. I get it. And if he went tomorrow, we will still have the same problem. The culture still needs to be changed. The football club still needs to adopt that winning mentality from top to bottom. We don't have it yet. The playing staff then would, over 3 years, would have had 4 managers. Right? They would have had 4 managers in 3 years. The playing staff. Then you bring somebody new in. They might want their own players. Do they get backed properly by the owner? Because I truly believe, Sophie, that's why they never went for the big name when Unai Emery got the job. And that's why they never went for the big name before Arteta got the job. Because they know if they get a manager in with a big reputation, he is going to want assurances that he's going to get X amount of money, because everyone could see this Arsenal team are not, whether it's mentally right, physically right, or collectively right, they are not right. Nobody can tell me this Arsenal team are mentally right, physically right, or whatever. They're not. So, show up in some games, don't show up in another. Biggest games of the season, they don't show up. That's not so-called, yeah. Everything comes with the manager, 100%. And if he's not got right tomorrow, that's that business. Whoever's going to come in has to deal with these mentally impotent players. It's just the same. And it's, do you know what, Sophie? It's painful for me to say these things, because you don't connect Arsenal with mental impotence. We could say, yeah, we weren't good enough on the day, but mental impotence and being scared of the moment, no, that's not Arsenal. That's not Arsenal.
Well said, Kev. Very well said. And I feel like we've been mentally impotent in the Premier League for years in terms of competitiveness to really compete to win it. You know, the top four thing is now looking back, it's just like, wow, it's amazing really what Wenger did.
We got fed that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got fed that. Yeah.
And it's created the culture of our thoughts, our feelings, how we look at managers, tactics, everything, because holistically, it's all actually a mess, you know. It's not like, you know, like when someone cooks you something and you try to pick around it and eventually you just can't eat it, right? It's
because you're getting sauce. There's sauce on it and all sorts of things. That's like, Sophie, don't forget. Let me just say this. This has been coming. And let me just tell you, you get up stupid o'clock to watch football matches.
I do. And so do so many others, Kev.
And so many others get up. So many people in England, you know, plan their weekend around the game, whether they're at the game or not. And even under our greatest manager, games were over before half time. We're out of it before half time, Sophie. And I would look at it and I would think, Arsene Wenger's a top manager. He's proven. He's got all the experience. But we're still getting blown out of games before the end. Right?
Okay. Go on.
And all I'm saying is that it didn't happen all the time, but in the big games, it started to happen a bit more regularly. And then when obviously the change happened and Unai Emery done pretty well. But there were times where we were blown out of some of the big games as well. So the decline.
He got battered a lot, Wenger. He got battered a lot.
But it was coming. If you understand, the descent was happening. We were coming down, and we feel, because we're Arsenal and we're proud, that we're not going to hit rock bottom. We're at rock bottom now. We are at rock bottom. And that goes into question number 2. Because we are at the crossroads. No Europe. Is it the end of the world? We're at rock bottom. It's only the end of the world if we don't use it to our advantage to get our house in order. We've got to get our house in order. Chelsea, for all the money they've spent, Sophie, we're out of Europe. Liverpool, we're out of Europe. Arsenal can be out of Europe. But we have to use it. We have to use the pain to get the club back on track. That's what we've got to do. And you know what, Sophie? This summer is going to tell us everything. Whether Arteta's manager or not, if he gets sacked, so be it. But whoever comes in is going to need to be able to get the club, whether it's Arteta or another, is going to have to be able to get the club all, and I mean all, going in one direction. Because if the club cannot go in one direction and the dressing room's doing this and that one's doing that and this one don't agree, it never works. It never works.
But Kev, Liverpool and Chelsea changed their managers to change their own
culture, to change the culture.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what Arteta
and Liverpool won the Champions League in the middle of all that. They went to two Champions League finals, won, and then Klopp
3 years
came
later.
Yeah,
won 3 years. Remember, they won 1-3 after Klopp came in. They won the Champions League 3 years later. Lost in the final to Real Madrid second season. Won the Champions League third season, and then won the title fourth season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, Arteta, I believe, was brought in to change the culture. The first thing he had to do was sort that dressing room out as a manager, because the dressing room was where the rot was. That dressing room was the ones who got Unai Emery sacked, right? 5 captains and all this, and people weren't playing for him and throwing the shirt down and all that. That all up under his tenure. But that was the dressing room being too powerful. So Arteta had to come in. He had to change the culture. And he has to change it slowly. So people could say he's clueless, he don't know this, he don't know that. He knows. He's played for the club. He knows football. And anybody who knows football knows you need the dressing room on your side. And Unai Emery didn't have that 100%.
Do you think Arteta's had the dressing room on his side this season? I don't.
I think he's had battles internally over that dressing room. It's been a constant battle, I believe.
Kev, can I ask you a question? And don't like jump down my throat, everyone, because it's a really genuine question. I love banter between players. I love jokes. The dressing room, we have our show Inside the Dressing Room, which is going to come back with some great episodes over the holidays, you guys, over the summer when the league ends and stuff like that. And I love that show because I love the stories between the players. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when I see Aubameyang in the dressing room, it seems to me like when he's trying to goad Saka into like a bet or giving him money or whatever, it seems like Saka's the mature one and Aubameyang's the immature one. It just seems to me that I think it's either going to be Aubameyang stays or Arteta stays. I don't think we've had this. Under Emery, it was collective. Now you're talking about the captain of the team. That relationship feels broken. I'm not basing this on a fact. I'm just saying what I see.
Your hunch.
It just feels, it wouldn't shock me if there's a news report that says Aubameyang's asked for a transfer as soon as the last game of the season is played.
So, which takes us to question number 3. Do we make wholesale changes or subtle changes? I think it's got to be wholesale changes. Because here's the reason why. Usually what happens in a team where the team are prepared and they go out there, it's a game of football. You can fail. Sophie, you can fail as a footballer. You put everything in and you fail. But these players haven't turned up. This is the problem. They haven't turned up. And we could have gone through of the width of a post or whatever. We could have gone through. But as we often say, what you're supposed to do when you come off that pitch, you're supposed to be able to say to yourself, I gave everything. Could they honestly say they gave everything yesterday? Because you know what? Villarreal coming to the Emirates, they should have been quaking in their shoes. Of that first 20 minutes should have been really, really uncomfortable, that they think, oh my God, we can't get out, we can't get a kick. They're putting us under so much pressure. No, it was quite easy. And the truth is, I honestly don't think the team are set up to play that way. The team are set up to go and press. We've seen it. We've seen them do it. But we just don't get the consistency, and we've talked about it so many times. So if we don't get the consistency all season, Arteta, you mentioned it before, Sophie, he's got to be ruthless. And whether it's him or another. Because here's the problem sometimes if you bring a new manager in. The new managers don't want to see the players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same players, Sophie. 4 managers in. It's the same players. Yeah, we've got some new players who are adjusting, but generally, it's the same players.
Well, I mean, Gabriel, Partey, David Luiz, Willian, Cedric, Runnison. I'm missing 2. That's all his choices. Sends Torreira away, Guendouzi, Mavropanos. You know,
Saliba.
All out on loan, Saliba.
Mm-hmm.
Total, there's 17 players out on loan. I'd like to thank my friend Danny at Bergkamp Wonderland for that little stat. But he made these choices, Kev, and he's played a lot of his own players this season. And for the beginning of the season, you could argue that it was his own Achilles heel where he's trying to force Willian to work. You know,
Sophie, we could say that but everybody hasn't been good enough by the young boys.
Yeah, but he also extended Holding's contract. He extended David. He wants to extend David Luiz. You know, he's the one, making these decisions.
He is making the decisions. But remember, he's the one on the inside. He's the manager. And my point is this. If you're going to get out of that dressing room, if you're going to be ruthless, because we've all said it, this is the important summer. If he's going to be manager, this is where he cannot make the mistake this summer.
He made a mistake as well. Someone just posted as well with Maitland-Niles. Could have gone to Wolves for 20. Said, no, I'm going to keep him. And then he goes to the worst loan deal ever, like another Gnabry. I mean, it was a disaster at West Brom. And that's a lot. That's a lot on Maitland-Niles because he wanted to play midfield. I get that.
Listen, again, if a player doesn't want to be at the football club and wants to play, what do you do?
Can I ask you this question? Because Willock played a few games. Willock has been given his chance in the Cups especially, but he's also been given a shot in the Premier League. Why is it Steve Bruce can have him scoring from midfield for Newcastle and at Arsenal, everyone thinks he's not good enough to play?
Well, he didn't do that for Arsenal when he played.
No, but what he's doing it for Steve Bruce.
No, I know, but it's a different club, different philosophy. Different.
It's just interesting, Kev. It's just interesting.
Asked to do something different.
It's same thing. Look, Robbie Keane scores 1 million goals at Tottenham, goes to Liverpool, can't do it. Andy Carroll's a hero at Newcastle, goes to Liverpool, can't do it. It happens. I mean, sometimes managers do have an effect on players, and I think maybe what you've just said. Think about what you just said. They were at certain clubs, and then they went to bigger clubs. Yeah. Yeah, but there's examples.
No.
Yeah, those examples. Yeah.
This is really important. I've said it once, and I'm going to say it again. When you wear that badge for the big clubs, it's totally different.
I understand that. I do. But Berbatov went from Tottenham to Man United and was a rock star.
Yeah, he was. He was.
So it works both ways.
No, but mostly it doesn't. That's my point. Mostly it doesn't work that way. It works the other way. Normally the better players, when you get around better players, your game improves.
I think the issue is this. We've had wholesale changes versus the wholesale started in the summer and it moved into I said January is one of our best ever transfer windows, getting rid of that lot. but that didn't really get us anywhere either.
No, but what it done, it freed up the toxicity in the dressing room.
Did it? I don't think so.
Yeah, it did.
I think it left a stain.
No, it did.
A skid mark.
It freed up, because having those don't forget, people were talking about, oh, should we bring Mesut Ozil? Oh, come on. Get Mesut Ozil back in the team.
I mean, he's trolling us on Twitter.
Yeah, but that's
Alexis
fine.
Sanchez just won the Scudetto with Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Everyone who's left has gone and won something somewhere.
So, so again, here we are. We've hit the crossroads, and that pain that I discussed is here on us now. As long as we use it in the right direction and we use it to the betterment of our football club, we're going to be all right.
I think we're going to find out a lot in the next couple of weeks, because
next month or so, yeah.
We are, because we're going to find out if Arteta really wants to stay, which players are going to come out and be vocal saying, I want to leave. What's going to, Lacazette, players like that, who comes back from loan, who do we keep? We've done that show. We're going to do another updated show on that, guys, in the next few weeks here. We've talked about, who should stay on loan, who we should try and cash in on. We need to make a lot of those loans into sales to be able to bring in money to invest in the squad.
Wholesale change.
Kev, I just cannot and will never, ever trust this manager. I just can't do it.
No,
starts.
And you don't need to.
And I just,
you're right, you don't need
I tried, Kev. I really tried. And I don't, Sophie, I was joking earlier
but you owe him nothing.
No.
And listen, this is one thing I've learned about football. Fans owe players and managers nothing. It's for the players and the manager to prove they're worthy.
But Kevin, you guys come and go. And the managers, they come and go. Some leave a lasting legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Some leave us with the greatest memories of our life. And at the end of the day, fans remain. They're always going to be there.
100%.
They're the best employees of any football club.
Well, that's why I say they owe managers and players nothing. Fans owe players nothing. If the players prove themselves, fair enough. But players
and that's why you're beloved. That's why Smudger's beloved. That's why Tony's beloved. Dennis, Thierry, Patrick, Manu. I mean, Winterburn, Seaman.
Right.
I mean, all these players.
Michael Thomas, the Rockies of this world. That's why Rockies love so much, bless him.
But I would say even there was a time, right, when that team that Wenger had that broke the duck and won the FA Cup looked like we were going to lose that final to Hull City. It was going to be another catastrophe. But somehow we found a way to win. Mm-hmm. And then the following year, those teams, I don't care what anyone says, I know they were weak sauce in the league, but they helped bring back a little bit of that culture and that winning mentality. But the cost of those cups, Kev, the Band-Aids.
Well, I look at the football, because it's the football club that is the driver, Sophie. It's the hierarchy at the top that is the driver of any football club. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, the people upstairs have to be of the same mindset to be the best. So you want to get the best? Let's go and get him. Why was David Dean such a great exponent for Arsene Wenger? Because David Dean wanted to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't necessarily go out and buy the best players at that moment, but he backed Arsene Wenger to get the best talent in that he can develop.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Vieira wasn't Patrick when he came to Arsenal. Thierry Henry wasn't Thierry Henry when he came to Arsenal.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going?
Even Dennis, when he came, he had a
Dennis had
rough ride in
struggled.
Italy.
He had a rough ride in Italy and blah, blah. But it's the Arsenal. It's everything, because the feeling from the top was the same as the manager, as the fan. Everybody wanted it, that line. It was all aligned. Now it's all disjointed. The top don't know what it's doing. The middle don't know when we got Arteta here all over the place. It's not right. And until we get that,
Kev, before I let you go, it's 1 hour, 15 minutes of pure magic on Kevin Says. We've had the fire, the fuel, the calm, the conversation. And I love these kinds of chats when we're shooting the shit here with Kev. Because I ask you this, when was the last time we had a proper leader in our team?
Proper leader was probably Patrick. Potentially.
Like, even so, Koscielny was not a leader for you. Robin van Persie, like plays like that. They were Fabregas was young and he was thrown into it.
No. Maybe led by the way they played, but not the leader that you're talking about. No.
So we're talking like, right? Okay.
Patrick.
Would you say Fabregas though tried? Like in a different way, or
by example. Fabregas wasn't the most vocal, but it's the way he played. You know, he led by example that way. I'll take this team. I'll carry the team. I'll do extra. Mm-hmm. But you imagine being Fabregas looking around that coach where you've just been humped 3 or 4, and he's thinking, "What's going on here?" Mm-hmm. These guys need support. And the club didn't have the mentality to be that strong club that we should have been. Mm-hmm. And I know it happens in cycles, but the mentality of the club has been wrong for so many years. So it's been wrong. So again, whether Arteta's there, he's not there, it doesn't really, it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is from the top down.
I mean, could you even imagine us pulling off a signing like Sol Campbell? I mean, we could never do that anymore. We could never do that. Like if this was 15 years ago, you could say like we could have signed Harry Kane from Tottenham 15 years ago. Easy. Because of our bravado, our branding, our pedigree, our prowess, our winning mentality, our culture, our DNA. We can't.
Our power.
Our power. That's
it's
a good
power.
one.
Do you know when you're running football, when you're beating the you are powerful. Everywhere you go, like people can feel your power. We are not powerful. We're not.
No.
People fear you. People feared Arsenal. The Arsenal. They don't fear us no more. Teams come to the Emirates rubbing their hands.
Yeah.
Because they know they're in for an easy ride. You play, we play.
I mean, it feels like for so many years we've had, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody here, but it's like we had men playing in our team, and some modern day players are just too soft, Kev. You know, and
Soph. So sorry, you finish.
No, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say, when you say things like that, that's down to recruitment. Mm-hmm. That's who you bring in the building. When you watch them, you know, so many times managers said to me, I watched you when you in this game when you were losing. And I knew you're the guy. Because when you're losing, you got to roll them up and you got to start trying and fighting. When you're winning, many people don't learn anything. This is where we learn about the players. So here, when we're here, because all right, the shit's hit the fan. Now we're going to find out about who wants it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you didn't want it in a semi-final, against Villarreal to go to the final. You got the home game. You need one goal, and they never give it then.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And
Wholesale
it seems like, and I give Theo as an example because to me he was the perfect example of a player that seemed focused on his football, but then it felt like he was more focused on his physique. Now, of course, you have to be. You're an athlete. You got to be lean. You got to be fit. You got to be. But it just feels like, and I'm not saying this couldn't have happened to you guys back in the day if there was social media. I'm going to put my money on that generation. Say that it couldn't. I trust you because you've been there.
No chance. The dressing room wouldn't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So the dressing room was so strong and powerful. No. There was nobody upsetting the group. If you upset the group, you're gone.
Yeah. It was a group. And you used the key word there, Kev. Group.
Group, yes.
All together. Whereas now it's such cliques. And there is, there's cliques. That's the culture we've built. That's the culture that Wenger built. I'm sorry, he did. He's responsible for so much. And we could go on and on tonight, honestly, guys. It's a 1 hour, 20-minute show. But, every now and again, we love to do the radio show and just, they're on air for 2 or 3 hours. I mean, this is the kind of conversation I love to have with Kevin when it goes into this organic mode. Because as an Arsenal fan, Kev, I woke up this morning, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt sadness in my heart. I felt that sadness you feel when you wake up from the night before when you break up with someone and your heart just hurts, years of investing and spending time. And how did this happen? How did we get here? What did I do? What did they do? And it just felt sad and it feels really sad. And I think the anger part, the passion was last night on last night's show for sure and a bit earlier, but the anger, I think, went a long time ago.
It subsides, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does subside. And do you know what, Soph? I think for a lot of fans, and a lot of fans feel let down, you're right, but it's the reality. It's the reality of what we're in. Because fans don't like to admit we're struggling, Soph, as a football club, because we're the Arsenal, but we've been struggling for years.
I said to Jordan last night on the show, I said, you mentioned rock bottom. I said, we've needed football rehab for years. Wenger was the meltdown, the breakdown. Unai was the meltdown. And under Arteta, we've hit rock bottom. But the biggest question of all is, do we have the tools, the resources, and the care to take the necessary steps to recovery? And I think that's the part Arsenal fans are afraid of the most, which goes back to your very first question and also your last question, because it's like having an alcoholic in the family, right? Or having someone you see. Until they realize there's a problem, then
an addict.
It's never go. And so until the Cronkies realize, until the decision makers, until they're bold enough, brave enough, big enough to make these choices and these decisions, we're just going to keep going around in the same circles. And that makes me sad. Makes me really sad.
Yeah. It's not an easy one. It's a hard one for us Arsenal fans. It really is, because I don't care which manager you bring in. He needs new players. And I'm not saying all new players, but if he looks back at the games, maybe you might think I need all new players, because it's a semi-final and you're just coasting. No, come on. I can't. Sorry, I can't. Sophie, there's certain things I can't have. And I can't have that. They should be, if they're going to win or go through, they're going to have to go through hell.
Their shirts didn't even look dirty. The shorts.
They were fine. It was easy work. They didn't even need to play well. It was easy work.
And the problem with Arteta is in the last few games, Kev, he's looked lost and clueless on the sideline.
Well, listen, as far as I'm concerned, he knows what he wants. He's just not getting it. For whatever reason, whether it's him, whether it's the players, it's not happening right now. So something's going to have to give. Something's going to have to give. And I honestly believe he was brought in to change the culture.
Oh my God, when I see things like this, Newcastle up to 13th, it's crazy. I know, Kev, I know, but it's just not working. It's just not. It's just something. It's broken so many different ways. Look, when we won the FA Cup.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah. The team are a mirror image of their manager.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Leicester 0.
Yeah.
Newcastle 3.
It's unbelievable. What a brilliant result. They're up to 13th.
They're safe.
I mean, it's incredible, Kevin.
Willock, Dummett, and Wilson.
So this is what I mean about Dean Smith and Villa. I mean, he's actually not had Grealish either, and they're above us. Grealish hasn't played for 6 weeks, maybe 2 months now.
Yeah, but have you noticed what they do, Soph? Do you notice what their game is based on? Competing. They compete.
But the same team nearly got relegated last year by 1 point, Kev. So he's galvanized them to do that.
But they compete. You have to learn and you have to compete. Our players think we are Arsenal.
They're arrogant.
You've got to get over that one. Sophie, every game is the same. Whether it's a friendly, and this is the truth, whether it's a friendly, a league tie, a cup tie, or a big European game. The first thing I've got to do, Sophie, I've got to compete with you and overpower you. Then I get to play the fancy football. Not I play the fancy football first. Mm-hmm. I've got to compete with you. Because what you've got to know, Sophie, is I am better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to be better than you, I have to dominate you. And that's what Arsenal used to do. Arsenal used to dominate most positions on the football pitch for longer periods. And if you do that, you win the games. Against the bigger teams, it's a lot more even. So you have to compete even more. That's why some of them Titanic battles, you remember against Manchester United, that's why it gets into like fisticuffs and there's all that stuff going on in the tunnel because everybody's trying to get just a little edge.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a little edge, you get 1% edge, then you could turn the tide on the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Not this Arsenal team.
Yeah, no, I hear you. By the way, Villa added players. So did we. Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Willian, Cedric. I mean, please don't tell me we didn't add players. And someone just said Villa are mid-table. They're 1 point below us now with a game in hand. This is the problem. This is our comparison. It's like...
Yeah, but Soph, you are right. You are right. Arsenal players, for me, first thing in their head isn't to compete. Villa's is, Leeds is, West Ham is, Arsenal aren't. So we can play as much as we want on paper till you cross the white line and prove it.
Man, I'm going to freaking paint that white line green. Maybe that will change it. So then they can't see it when they cross it. Damn it, Kevin.
Oh, blood. They might not come out. Jeez, Soph.
Oh my goodness. Listen,
Tough
I
time,
know
Sophie.
you've
It's tough
had,
time
it
for us,
really
isn't it?
is. And we're going to dissect this a little bit more next week. We'll have some good roundtable discussions and conversations about the Arsenal Football Club. We are not going anywhere. Our club may be in disarray, but the Highbury squad will be here to guide you through to the end of the season. And then, of course, we can take a little breather and enjoy the Euros, but we'll still be bringing great content to you throughout. Super Kevin Campbell, you have been on fire tonight. Great job. Well done. Superb stuff once again from you. And thank you for spending an hour and a half. We got the longer we stay on, the more people come into chat. There's 500 plus right now. But we're going to let the legend go this Friday. What is your last exit?
Well, I've got a couple of things. It's always nice debating and battling with you, Sophie, and I love the passion when we get passionate and we're going back and forth. I love that because it's really important. Cliff Bastard again, right? And I think it's important that the fan base see that we do care. We may not have the same philosophy, we may not think the same things, but we are passionate. We're still passionate about Arsenal. I'm passionate, ever so passionate about Arsenal. And I know you are so passionate about Arsenal. For me, we just want the football club to do the right things and move in the right direction. That's what we did. We deserve that.
We do.
We deserve that. We've supported the club through thick and thin. We've supported the club where we haven't been great at times. And, we've taken our beatings. So to hit rock bottom now, come on. And we want the owner out. Some want the manager out. But whatever happens, we want the club to move in the right direction.
We do. We definitely do.
And if it's this owner, although we're against you, we want you to put your money in. No disrespect, because it's the Arsenal and we love it. And maybe you don't love it like we do, or maybe you don't love it at all. But you've got to do the right thing to get this club moving in the right direction. It has to happen, whether the manager's there or the manager's not. It needs it. It deserves it. 4-0. Jesus, please. Leicester. Leicester's going to do it again, aren't they?
They're going to crumble.
They're going to crumble. Well, they've crumbled because have you seen their fixtures after this?
Yeah.
Jesus, please.
Yeah. Well, look, Kev, brilliantly summarised and excellent. And thanks to all the squaddies who have joined us and been with us all week. We hope you've enjoyed our 71 celebrations as well. And yes, we were going to have a special guest on tonight, but unfortunately scheduling changes. So we're going to do that next week for those of you who've been asking in chat. Okay. We will be back next week with another Kevin Says. We'll have Monday Madness for you. We'll have some Wednesday Wisdom. And of course, we're going to be tackling all the things going on at our club and keeping you up to speed with some of the most top shelf key informers as well. Until then, Kev, the only thing... Oh, no. There's no way. Willock's injured? That's hilarious. Okay, stop. Kev, there's only one other thing to say.
You're right. We love you, Arsenal, and you do break our hearts. But you know what? It's always Arsenal.